The Adventures of the Brothers Gray. When I first met the two cats who would become known as the Brothers Gray, it was not by happenstance, although neither they nor I decided to meet. It was arranged by some divine decider. I fed them, but only enough to sustain them. I left them still hungry, for I knew that they would need that hunger if they were to become what they were destined for, to be the most fearsome hunters in the whole of the land. I named them after two gray wanderers, Gandalf and Odin. This was of course not their real names. Those were a secret even unto the creatures themselves. The one I called Gandalf was the smaller of the two, and the more friendly, more appreciative after a feeding than Odin. He would come over and allow me to pet his coat that had the appearance of a gray leopard. Odin, on the other hand, was loud and skittish, demanding food with loud proclamations and then running away as I served them, only to return when he determined the immediate area safe. His yellow eyes would dart this way and that, and then he would become a gray blur as he skirted back and forth. They were constant companions, finding comfort in each other's presence. If you saw one, you could be assured that the other was not far off. I knew that they were special and had purpose as surely as I knew that they had been brought to the abbey for me to watch after. They could not yet hunt as they ought, young as they were, and although I had the capability, I gave them no luxuries. I knew this would make them soft and docile. These creatures had the capability of becoming mighty, set deep in their bones, but it would not be found and accessed if life was made too easy for them. So I sustained them, but I did not pamper them. I let them grow and learn, led by instinct and nature and a little whimsy. As their fight for survival lessened by the hand that feeds, their playful tendencies came out. I watched as they tussled and gambled in the grassy field outside the greenhouses. This was their training ground, the place where they learned to stalk and pounce. I watched as the nature of the predator unfurled before me. It was during this practice that their first adventure found them, the rescue of Madame Chanterelle. Gandalf and Odin were frolicking by the woods. Their skills were improving, and they took turns pouncing on one another before tussling, becoming a gray ball of fur before separating and swishing their tails. It was during one of these bouts when they heard, "Hey, watch out!" The brothers separated and looked about. Baffled, they searched for the source of the shout. A moment later, Odin realized that he had ended up right in the middle of a group of small orange cups. He leapt with retreat back to Gandalf. But Gandalf took a step toward the creatures, curiosity blooming. "What are you?" Gandalf inquired. One of the cups glided forward, its stem still sticking in the ground. "We are the Chanterelle tribe," he stated proudly. "This is our home in the shade of the mighty oak." Gandalf and Odin looked over the gathering of orange creatures. They saw at the center of the gathering the largest Chanterelle, but it looked sad and distressed. The brilliant orange color that could be found in the others had turned muddy, as if soiled by grief. "What's wrong with that one?" asked Gandalf. "He is our chief," said the Chanterelle, his cap hanging down as he spoke. "He is in grief, as you can see. The tribe known as the Destroying Angels raided us and kidnapped Madame Chanterelle. She is the mother of our tribe, but we are incapable of rescuing her because of our connection with the mighty oak. We are unable to leave the shade. It has caused much grief in our tribe." "Despicable!" roared Odin, sending the Chanterelle tribe into a mini panic until he continued his impassioned tirade. "The gall of these destroying angels, the impudence of this demon tribe. My brother and I will raid their home and rescue Madame Chanterelle from the grips of their claws and rip these deviants limb from limb. Well, perhaps stem from cap?" he ended sheepishly. The Chanterelle tribe were still and silent, unsure of what to make of the two felines. Then the chief lifted his cap and shouted, "Huzzah! The brothers Grey will fight for our dignity and honor, and to rescue Madame Chanterelle." The whole gathering of Chanterelles trumpeted, "Huzzah, huzzah! The brothers Grey will win the day! Huzzah!" With that, the fires of passion lit in the hearts of the two brothers, and they sprinted off to find the tribe of destroying angels. But they did not get far before they stopped. Odin cantered back and asked meekly, "Do you know where their home is?" It was not hard to find the colony of destroying angels. Their white caps stood out with sharp contrast to the brown leaf litter of the woods. And at the center of their throng lay the orange blossom of Madame Chanterelle. The two gray cats slinked their way to within pouncing distance of the colony, moving with silent grace. Gandalf whispered to Odin without taking his eyes away from the target, "We need a plan of attack. I'm concerned for the safety of Madame Chanterelle. I don't want her to—" "Charge!" Odin roared and leapt forward. "Get hurt," Gandalf finished before pouncing forward himself. What followed was utter devastation. White chunks of mushroom were hurled into the air just as jumping into a pile of leaves. Caps were rent from stem and scattered across the forest floor. Claws slashed at gills and teeth ripped at rings. The fury of the brothers was unlocked and unleashed on the colony of destroying angels. The devastation that the destroying angels had wrought upon the world was in this instant turned upon them. The two gray blurs were a swirl of destruction around the encampment, and at the eye of the storm, Madame Chanterelle lay untouched by the surrounding ferocity. When the cats were done, and the ground was littered with white, they approached Madame Chanterelle. "My lady, we're here to rescue you," Gandalf said. "You two have my gratitude," she said weakly. "Please help me to the shade under the mighty oak." The brothers carried her home and set her in the shade, and the Chanterelle tribe gathered around her. The chief, as he saw her, flushed his brilliant orange, like mud washing off in the rain. Joyously, he helped Madame Chanterelle to stand on the soil. "Thank you," he said to the cats. "A huzzah for the brothers Grey!" "Huzzah, huzzah! The brothers Grey have won the day! Huzzah!" trumpeted the chorus of Chanterelles. Then Madame Chanterelle said, "Indeed, thank you. You will always have friends among the Chanterelles, and we Chanterelles always have our ears to the ground." This was the first adventure of the brothers Grey, in which they saved Madame Chanterelle, brought justice to the forest, and made some friends who would prove to be great.